What year did you actually come to New York City?
Late 30s. Just came for a visit. I had one of the passes to the Museum of Modern Art. That's when I first saw exciting art.
Hey Joe, it's Josh Charow.
How are you?
My name is Joe Barnes, and I do meditative paintings. I am 98, I'll be 99, April 13th. I was in World War II. When I came back, I went to university. I first started painting in the 50s.
Right here? Can we do one more shot of you in that chair?
Sure.
Look right towards me. Perfect.
At one point, I was going to Philadelphia to a museum show. And on the way, I had this epiphany. I was going to paint. It just came to me. And I asked my friend to turn around and come back to New York. And I went to see a painter friend I had known in Paris. I told him that I knew somebody who wanted to paint. How do you prepare a canvas? And he gave me instruction. That very year, my first painting I submitted to a competition, Emily Lowe Foundation. Now this is extraordinary. I won first prize. That included money and a show on Madison Avenue. So I really had to work painting. At that time, Madison Avenue was a place to show in New York. So I had one painting. I was living on 12th Street in an apartment. I got rid of everything, all furniture, and it became my studio. I was walking down the street, and the person who had the gallery had been a painter herself. And she asked me if I needed a studio. I mean, just on the street, and I said yes. I was given a studio in Tribeca on West Broadway. I just moved in, rented my space on 12th Street, and painted there. And there were a lot of painters around at the time. And this has been my experience through life. I always say yes.
I'm gonna bring over my gear.
I had a friend who knew an American photographer, Ted Skilford, and this was in the 50s. At that time, American photographers were sought after doing commercial work. There was another photographer named Avedon.
Of course.
Yeah.
Richard Avedon.
Okay. We went to see him, and he asked me if I would pose. So I started modeling in Paris. You know, at first I thought, God, this is too ironic. Yeah. Anyway.
Do you have the photos?
No. No, but I did appear in Vogue, yeah, Italian Vogue, yeah.
Can you look this way? Perfect. I'm gonna shoot from there. What was Tribeca like in the 60s?
It was mostly butter and egg firms, and the rest of the space was unoccupied. What artists would do is, in order to legalize their living there, they had to build walls going into their studio from each floor. And they did things like that. Almost every painter did construction. I didn't have to because my space had been occupied by somebody or other. Never locked your door, that's another thing. Just didn't have to. In World War II, I was an ambulance driver. When I turned 18, I was being interviewed I told the interviewer, who's an officer in the U.S. Army, that I would not bear arms. The idea of killing someone, it just was beyond me. So I was placed in the ambulance corps. I was in every country in Europe, and when the war ended, my ambulance was posted to Japan. And on the way there, I was on a train. I heard that the bomb had been dropped in Nagasaki. So rather than go to Asia, I came back to the States and was here 6 months, and then I was released. So I'd been in the Army 2.5 years.
Do you remember what it felt like when you heard that World War II was over?
Yes, I was absolutely delighted.
Would it be possible to take photos of you painting?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
fine.
Great.
I've been painting monochromatic paintings all I've done, yeah. I used to paint white paintings, large white paintings. My first show in Cologne were huge paintings. And somebody gave me instruction on taking them off the stretchers and restretching them in Europe. Now, what I do is paint in the gallery. That's what I do now if I have a show. It has a certain amount of excitement to it, you know. I have 2 sons. My other son lives in Thailand. He comes once a year to visit. I have been using Thai paper, and it's a very special paper which he brings. While I'm painting, I'm trying to reach a moment where the painting is finished. It takes a while. This will probably have 5 or 6 coats of paint. When it doesn't have any blemish, for me, it's finished.
If you could give advice to a 25-year-old artist, what would your advice be?
You know, just paint, you know,
How often are you painting these days?
every day. Yeah.